Well, hey, Terry, did anything happen tonight?
Is there anything going on in the world?
Anything going on? Because
I wanted to talk about. We're here to do my new book review of a book I literally just got about Dick Nunes. This is all about Dick Nunes tonight, and the new book coming out on Disney Editions. Dick Nunes, Walt's Apprentice, Keeping the Dream Alive.
That's all we're talking about, right?
Actually, in reality, this is about Dick Nunes.
It could be.
It is, because Dick was he was a moneyman. He was a great leader who believed in the creative vision of the company and knew what it took he knew the balance of creativity and commerce.
So that I think that's the head of the everything right now is what we have right now is a man. Well, what we had, we let's not bury the lead. As you see at the scroll below us, first off, my mind is gone. Terry, we're not even going to do the intro. I mean,
no, you can put that on later.
I'll put that in post. What's so
funny is Derek, Frank, and I, who's already commented, we were at dinner last night. We went to go see Dropkick Murphys at the Ryman.
Ooh,
and I have some interesting theories about that too, but that's another episode.
Yeah,
fun show, and old man rock, and we went to this great little tapas place across the street from the Ryman Auditorium, and we were just talking about the same exact thing. Because, dude, you and I have kind of pontificated and prognosticated and other words that we use to sound smart, that there's a decent possibility that Iger might be the smartest person on planet Earth, that he's positioned himself
as the savior.
As the savior. Dude, get your I feel like you need a green screen. I don't know what you have. I don't.
Here, hold up. Let me try something. I was on a show last night.
Do you have a fine art print of Bob Iger available?
I was on a show last night, and my green screen was messing up. But
yeah,
let me see. I might have something here. Give me a second. How about this? Come on.
There you go.
But anyway, so all right, let's not bury the lead. Chapek's gone. Iger's back. So you're talking about the moneyman thing. I think this is the crux of the position. Bob Chapek, at 99% of Fortune 500 companies, would be a great CEO because he is focused, driven on money and the bottom line. But at a company that relies so heavily on magic, on a company that relies so heavily on keeping fans and people just in this magic bubble, so sometimes you have to not look at the bottom dollar.
So let's talk about this. Terry Weaver, I'm literally just back from the thing, so I can wear this hat. Funny enough, I had this conversation with Juan Rivers, who was the former vice president of the Animal Kingdom, who spoke at the thing. He was our closing speaker.
Don't you love how Terry just name drops all the time lately?
And we had dinner before, and we were talking about, I'm not name dropping. The dude was at my conference. He spoke. I know. He was awesome. And we were talking about Iger and Chapek, and just how, what's interesting about the Disney company, and there's a few, not all companies are like this, but Apple is like this. Google, I wouldn't say is like this. A lot of creative companies are like this.
Mm-hmm.
But Disney has a soul.
Yep.
Disney has something that's beyond just, you could probably even argue that Walmart has a soul. It has
let's not go that far.
Well, no, because, dude, if you've ever been to, if you go to Bentonville, Arkansas, Walmart has a soul.
Okay, yes.
It may have lost its soul in your small town America, Walmart, but that's where culture leaks. And I know you haven't had a chance to listen to WDW today. And this really should be my trip report, but my trip report revealed a couple of these things. When we were there, Jim Cramer, basically said, this guy's ruining the company.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's it. He's gone. I told Leslie, I was like, I bet he's gone by the end of the year. And she just a minute ago, you called it. You called it, you know.
Well, I hate to
Because
say this, but we all called it on this show. I
we've been
mean,
talking about this, and here's the interesting thing, dude. This one, and I know you may argue with me on this, or one thing told me this. When we got stuck with the hurricane after the thing,
right.
we tried to book tickets. I was trying to get back to the Ryman because I had a seat at the Ryman for Bono. Couldn't get my flight switched around in enough time to make that happen. And I wasn't about to leave Leslie, right? Like
For Bono, I mean that
I wasn't going to leave my wife in the path of a hurricane, even though I knew
Yeah.
it was going to be a nothing burger. That wasn't something this white boy was doing.
Understood.
So, I love Bono, but I love being married even more. So, we went to guest services, and I knew what was going to happen. And I was like, hey, man, we've extended our stay a day. I just need to get, and we knew the parks were closing at 5 that day. And I said, we need to just make sure. In fact, this was already after the hurricane because we had reservations for Hollywood Studios, and I went to the guest service as soon as we got in there. That park didn't open until 2:00, but I didn't show up till all the rain had stopped, and we were on our way to go do a few things. I went and did the Frozen sing along just because that was a fun thing to do while the rain was still drizzling.
Did you say puddle?
Oh, I sure said puddle.
Did you get called out?
It's a fun. Oh, dude, it was raucous. It was packed.
Okay.
It was people who had got cut half a day short because of hurricane. So, we were there, and so I stopped at guest services, and I was like, hey, we've extended our stay. DVC was great. We had to use points, but we used our points, stayed an extra night in our 1-bedroom at Saratoga. And I said, hey, and they did something that was silly. They closed down the dining reservation system and the park reservation system. So if you had anything, you couldn't change it, which was just creating chaos all over property.
Right.
So I went to guest services, and the dude, like the plaid there, couldn't do anything.
Really?
He's like, I can't fix this. I have to go to my lead.
Huh.
And I literally looked at him and said, that's exactly why Bob Chapek won't be here next week.
Sorry, I'm listening to you, but I've got to show this.
Yeah. And so, it's pretty funny. That's hilarious. Yeah. So, I mean, it took like 15 or 20 minutes for him to go to his lead and them to do me a favor by giving me park reservations because I was stuck there an extra day.
Really?
Now, granted, I was there with an annual pass with no park reservations and a resort stay. So, I have a feeling, I've got a feeling that Iger for one will be on Good Morning America tomorrow from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure where Iger is right now. I'm imagining on a Disney jet going somewhere he wasn't. He will either be at Disneyland with Robin Roberts. It's probably where Robin Roberts could be.
Yep.
Because he will be on Good Morning America somehow, some way, because ABC has that machine. Families are together this week, and he will probably be recording something that will be a part of the parade kind of extravaganza, which I'm assuming there's a Friday night something this year. There always is Thanksgiving week. There's a pre-show to the parade because they did two set. There's two sets to the parade. I've already seen the set list.
I was going to say, were you there when they recorded it?
They were recording it that weekend. So we were in the coffee house and everybody we were at the coffee house. We were at Starbucks and everybody was in there with their badges saying crew was in there getting coffee because it was still pretty gross.
Yeah.
So we kind of, we were there kind of experiencing that. But I think tomorrow he's going to announce, we'll say some nice things about Bob.
Why?
Chapek. I would imagine in the next 90 days, you're going to see some aggressive moves because this is an aggressive move.
This is to me, honestly.
As George W. Bush would say, nuclear.
To me, this is Michael Eisner coming in and taking over type move.
I honestly would not be shocked if Iger had said no if Eisner wouldn't have come back.
Maybe, but here's the thing. I am afraid that Eisner burnt way too many bridges
Well,
at the end.
I mean, Iger and Chapek were this is a result of a burnt bridge.
Right. Exactly.
So I think the things that you're going to see, let's predict them, and we're rarely wrong, but just in case we are.
Oh, we're a lot. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's Hannah Martin who's asking that question. It is. It just says Facebook user right here. But what do you think will be the first change for Iger? Honestly, Terry, you have been in the parks recently. So what is his first change? Is it parks? Is it medium? What is his first change?
Well, I mean, dude, as we're going right now, the biggest musician alive in our lifetime is live on Disney Plus.
Right.
Elton John's last North American show, I think, is still streaming live from Dodger Stadium.
Yep.
So I don't think we have any concerns about Disney Plus. And
see, we're going to disagree because
dude, I mean,
Disney Plus is losing money right now, majorly.
I've not looked at the numbers.
They are. Q4 has proven that Disney Plus is their basically hole in the bucket, and Iger's main focus.
Now, granted, what just happened? Everyone who signed up for the 3-year plan, which I was one of those people,
is done.
No, my card got charged for another year.
Really?
Yeah, because
okay.
It's recurring. So unless you have an expired credit card, you just got an $84 bill.
Yeah.
So I predict a few things are going to happen immediately. I think everybody's precious Josh D'Amaro. I think he's on very, very shaky ground. He is either going to be the heir apparent or he's going to be out in the next 6 months.
Yep, I can see that.
He's either going to step up or step out. I think you're going to see some real aggressive moves toward Florida. You and I were talking about Reedy Creek, so they're going to have to. Ron DeSantis and Bob Iger are going to have to get together and hug it out. And Disney's going to have to get back to what it is, a family entertainment company that is, yeah, I know everybody loves Josh. I don't know. I'm assuming that's Hannah.
That's Hannah.
Yeah, he's cute. He's good looking. You want to like have a t-shirt with his face on it. I get it. He's like Dr. McDreamy on.
He is truly a great guy. I've met him twice.
Yeah. Dude, I get it. I know you have a life-size Michael Jordan poster of him in your office.
Well, remember, I've since soured on him.
Yeah.
But he is a great guy, and he's a great face for the company. But I think that all of these issues that we've had in the parks are because of Josh. I think Josh is that snake in the grass.
Yes.
Who is making those changes.
Guys, I'm a leadership person. And leaders have to take responsibility when things aren't great. And I will tell you this, dude. I mean, I told you this before the show. I've kind of been avoiding you this week because I knew you and I were going to do an episode that was probably going to end this show because the parks were bad. Almost everybody that was with me at the thing, from Derek Frank who's watching to Katrina Stone, people who are all pass holders, DVC people. We're just like, dude, like there was like a noticeable like chill in the room. Like, it felt like mom and dad were breaking up at the Magic Kingdom. And I know we talk about the magic all the time, but dude, I mean, if you listen to the trip report, we were able to get 7 attractions done on a 7-hour VIP tour.
That's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, now, granted, there was a lot of waiting in there that should have been for the amount of money that was. Yeah, and Genie Plus. I think the things that are going to be. I think there's going to be a conversation about a lot of these things.
Yep, agreed.
You're going to see some surveys going out, and they're going to look at some data. We're going to look at how much money Genie Plus is making and not making. And I would suspect with the ticket price hike that we just had, they'd be real smart just to move the Genie Plus technology into it. I have no problem with being able to pay for Lightning Lane attractions, but let's fix that system.
Yeah,
I mean, dude, I waited in the lightning lane for Peter Pan for 35 minutes.
So here's my issue with that, and this is coming from somebody. Sorry, this is coming from somebody who uses DAS Pass a lot, the disability pass with my daughter. Used to be with the DAS Pass, you just go straight in. There's no waiting. But now because of Genie Plus and because of Lightning Lane, I might have to wait 30 minutes with my daughter who doesn't do good waiting.
Yeah, and I don't think you're going to see that change. But I mean, that's still not. I don't think that's going to change. And I don't have a problem with that, dude. I think that's more than fair. You get to go back.
No. It's like sometimes there's a 30-minute line in the Lightning Lane.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and I have to wait in that 30-minute line. So the point of the DAS Pass is you have an out, or say there's a 60-minute wait. You say, here's my return time, which is 60 minutes. So like I waited in that line.
Well, it's like 60 minutes. It should be. They should know the length. If they know the line's 30 minutes, you should come back in 30 minutes and get in that line. Is what
right? But then you get in the Lightning Lane line, and sometimes
there's
a line there, and so we have
the lines have been.
Yeah.
So the problem with the lines, dude, is Disney's not keeping up with the demand they have for the parks.
Exactly.
So I think you're going to see. I think we're going to go back and watch the debacle that was the D23 park session. We're going to go back and look at some of that blue sky thinking and see what actually alleviates the problems that we have. And obviously, I don't think a fifth gate is an immediate response. But the part of the problem is dude, is a lot of the stuff they've been doing has been replacing existing IP. Like all of the stuff at Epcot really hasn't added capacity to the park. The other piece in this, dude, is Iger's role. I mean, just read our scroll at the bottom. His role is he's coming in for 2 years. This is all about succession.
Yep.
We're going to pick a pony or 3 or 4 ponies really, really quick, and you're going to see them with Iger up front and center very, very fast.
I want to know who it's going to be. I really think that the VP of Magic Kingdom, what's it, Jeff? I can't remember his last name. Maybe, but I think he could be a very good candidate because he is done amazing things for Magic Kingdom right now.
Yeah, dude, a lot of those guys left during. I mean, Dwan left during the pandemic. Bob Wise left. They've lost some big. I wouldn't be shocked if some of those people make a comeback.
Oh yeah,
it'll be like you're going to see, dude. I think you're going to see, some real aggressive moves that may be shocking to people that are gonna. I mean, we're shaking the Etch-a-Sketch, baby. We're starting with 0. Anyone and anything is on the table. Job security is out the window for anybody in leadership right now.
Yep.
I think you're gonna see, the guy that used to run DVC is now the VP of Disneyland. There's not a chance in heck he would run the company.
No.
So
let's catch up here. We got a couple of questions. Jeffrey Martin, friend commented about Josh. Does it show a lack of confidence in him that they wanted Iger to step back? Yes, I think Terry stepped up, said this earlier. Josh is done.
Yeah, Josh is either done or he's going to be groomed one-on-one with Iger.
Right.
And I predict that Terry Weaver, who has all along said, I think you're going to see something real aggressive. I've said the biggest mistake Iger made during his reign was not standing behind John Lasseter and taking some of the heat for his stupidity and his, in the height of the Me Too movement, they kind of slid it under the rug and they showed him the door.
Right.
I would predict that you're going to potentially see a 2-headed monster taking the company back over. It's how the company has always thrived. So if we can get somebody with, and if it's not Lasseter, it potentially could be somebody like McNair. Imagine your buddy. We've talked about Jerry Bruckheimer.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So, and he's got a strong movie creative. It's going to have to be really strong creative and really strong business. Roy and Walt, Eisner and Wells. Iger is one of the rare people in humanity that drained the Seven Seas Lagoon.
No.
What they might drain though is the World Showcase Lagoon and get those barges on out of there. Because that's really, really interesting, dude. Because if you want to go back to D23, the one thing that kind of shocked me was Harmonious,
Yeah,
and that was Chapek's baby.
I know.
So,
And Harmonious is great though.
dude, they're like Thanosing him out of there.
Yeah, just gone.
Gone. Like
Which he needs to be. I honestly think he needs to be, because he has not been a great CEO. In fact, I think he's hurt the company exponentially more than he's helped it.
Oh, yeah, dude, it's going to take every bit of 2 years to climb. But, I mean, he's a fall guy, as Logan and I were to text earlier. He is the ultimate, like, man. And let's not feel bad for Chapek.
He got a severance.
Oh, he's under contract, and his contract is 2 more years, I think. He just got it extended.
You're right.
And he has a guaranteed in his contract for $200 million a year minimal bonus.
So basically, Disney has 2 CEOs right now.
No, I mean he's not. No, he's out. He is out. He is out.
Right. He's making the CEO salary without doing anything.
He's like one of those NFL franchises that keeps paying people that aren't on payroll.
Oh, so this is like the New York Mets, Bobby Bonilla Day every year.
Yeah, they're going to be paying him for a while. I mean, dude, he's going to walk away with $500 million or more.
Easily.
Not to mention, dude, he's been with the company since Epcot's inception. So he was been around a lot of those earlier days. And so I highly predict, dude, that he's just fine.
Yeah.
You know, he's got some Disney stock. And dude, I mean, Iger has a lot of Disney stock.
Yeah.
So he's got a vested interest in coming back. You know, he called his book The Ride of a Lifetime, and baby, buckle up. Here we go.
We are still on that ride.
We are still on that ride. And so I think you're going to see Bob Iger is going to be interestingly, this keeps Bob out of politics, interestingly enough. But I think you're going to see some really aggressive political type moves from him.
Right.
That you would see in politics, right? Like you're going to see him doing things that I think really just freak people out, like how you're going to be giddy.
Yeah.
I mean,
so all right, so let's do this. We don't get political on this show, but there are 2 things here that I think we have to really get political to talk about here. One, and I'm going to really maybe upset a few people, but I think Bob Chapek went down this woke road way too much with Disney, and Iger, while being cognizant of the left and the right, Iger had a great way of doing things right down the middle as to not upset both sides. I think we're going to get back to a little bit of that in the Disney mindset. Disney has gone super left in the last 2 years with Bob Chapek.
I think the problem is I don't have a problem with you being awake to your beliefs.
Exactly. I don't have that problem.
Even if I don't agree with them. I mean, dude, drop Kick Murphys last night. I mean, I saw more shirts with explicitives towards people that used to be in the White House than I've ever seen in my life. They were a very politically active band. They made all kinds of political statements.
Right.
I didn't agree with those statements, but I didn't storm out. I think the problem with being what's interesting about the term woke is I want everyone to be awake.
Exactly.
I want liberals to be awake. I want conservatives to be awake. The problem is when you're woke with an agenda.
And that's what Disney has been the last 2 years.
Disney has done some moves, and they haven't even they were swings and misses. Now, some of those happened under Iger's watch.
But they weren't near as big as they have been under Chapek.
But the reason why Chapek had to I'm going to defend him for a second.
What?
here we go. The reason why he had to is because he didn't have a position.
He didn't have a backbone.
He didn't have a backbone to start with, and then when he didn't stand with his employee base, he lost graces with his leadership, his team.
Right.
And the biggest problem that Bob Chapek created for the company was a cultural one. I love what Andy Stanley says when he says vision leaks. Disney is very much a company that is dependent upon, there's literally, we go to one man's dream. Disney is one man's vision that has been held strong. I highly recommend the Mickey documentary that just came out this week on Disney Plus to anyone that's a true Disney fan. It is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to watch it again. In fact, that's what I was about to start doing when my phone started blowing up. That I was going to sit down with Leslie and we were going to watch that again because we missed so much the first time.
Right.
But dude, very, very much, there's all kinds of tidbits that I've never heard, and believe me, I've heard a lot of them. And one of the interesting ones was the fact that Lillian Disney couldn't interact with Mickey Mouse past Walt's death. That she had a hard time watching the content because so much of Walt Disney was embodied in that mouse.
Yeah.
And I think you want to talk about most of the people in the company are wearing they're wearing a rodent on their shirt. It's a company that's known for this mouse.
I mean, that both you and I are wearing them.
Yeah, both you and I are wearing. I'm not just wearing. I'm wearing a Vans hat. So like, we're talking about world-class brands want to partner with this, want to be known by this mouse. Yeah, and I think while I was gone, this book came, which is the Imagineering story, the documentary. I wasn't expecting this. But that tells you a lot about a company when this is the history book to their creativity.
Yeah.
And so because Disney has such like a creative soul to itself that, and I know, I'm watching Hannah and other people like bring back the dining. We all want those things to come back too. But long before we get the surface stuff fixed,
we've got to get the culture.
Fix the culture back. And that my experience at guest services over a park reservation, which I shouldn't even have to have because I have a thing called an annual pass, which means annually, if it's not blocked out on my calendar, I ought to be able to walk in, slide it, and go and enjoy the parks. And I think one of the things that technology has done is you can't not have this device in the park.
I'm okay with that. And
but dude, I know you're okay with it. For me, I live on this device, dude. There's some days I don't get to my laptop till 3 or 4 o'clock.
Right.
And I've got a dead battery. I'd love a vacation from this device. I'd love a vacation from having to know as soon as I scan through my Magic Band that I've got to book my next experience or I'm going to miss out on those precious park times. And it's just, regardless of if you're using DAS or Lightning Lane or any of those things, you shouldn't have to have a phone to enjoy a theme park. You should be able to go and enjoy it and not end up waiting hours and hours in line because you want to be present with your family. I didn't come. Dude, let's talk about it. I looked at the offerings for from a travel agent that was at the thing. And the cheap for around spring break for 5 nights.
Mm-hmm.
It's as much as $8,000
for
a family of 4. And at its cheapest about a little under 5 for let me actually pull it up because I don't want to be.
I'll make one. I'll do so.
No, here we go. 4-3 to 29.
Okay.
23 to 29. 2 adults, 2 kids. 5-day park hopper and a memory maker.
How old are the kids? We're saying
13 and 8.
You said what were the dates again?
4/23 to 29.
4/23 to 29.
5-day hopper and memory maker.
Okay.
43, 37, 93 at Pop Century.
Wow.
all the way up to Riviera at 88, 88, 57.
Really?
So, dude, that's a lot of money to pay to not be able to look at you. If you're here's the deal, dude. I know what you love. You're gonna miss out on that moment with your daughter having a princess moment because you're
Yeah.
trying to book the next Fast Pass.
See, okay, that's where I don't do it the same way most people do. When I am in line with the princesses or with the kids, my phone goes in my pocket. I don't start making those next fast pass or lightning lanes or whatever you want to call it. I don't make those reservations until I am outside of the attraction.
No, but if you don't have a luxury, you have a luxury that family with the 5-day hopper doesn't have.
I
You're
go
going
all the
back.
time. Yeah,
So
I get it.
they've got to make every precious moment count.
I get it.
And so I have no problem with park prices. I don't. Charge whatever you want. Triple the prices. I don't care. But the experience better get 3 times better for triple the money.
I think you're going to see a better experience coming soon.
Oh, dude, you better see a better experience or people aren't coming back.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
You know, and I mean, I know you and I have pontificated about the folks down the street at Epic. Dude, Epic Universe is coming in hot.
Here's the thing too. 2 years from now, Chapek
strategy, my friend.
Yes. Chapek will be leaving right as soon as Epic Universe is about to open. So we're going to have the new Disney CEO in place and ready to go as soon
probably
as
making an announcement about something major in Orlando.
Yep. Agreed.
And I think it's the culture is the first thing he's going to have to fix. I know we want dining plans back. I know we want to get rid of Genie Plus. I know we want to get rid of the park reservation system. But the very, very first thing he's got to do is make those cast members feel loved.
Yep.
And like they matter and empower them to lead.
So I talked to multiple cast members. So everyone knows when I talk about cast members, y'all immediately think I'm talking about Adam. It's not always Adam, I promise you. There are multiple friends that I talk to that work for Disney. But multiple people I have talked to say that the culture is not one of uplifting your current employees. They're not employees, they're cast members. But it's not uplifting at all.
That's exactly right. That twist that you just said, Chapek has been treating them like cogs in a wheel.
Right. And that's what Chapek, that's why I say 99.9% of Fortune 500 companies, Bob Chapek would be a great CEO because
he'd be fantastic.
Yeah. He is great at the bottom dollar.
Actually,
the
let
money
me actually
line.
say this. He would be great at a company that didn't have a guest-facing experience.
Exactly. He would probably kill it at Boeing.
Yes.
He would. If he was my CEO at Boeing, I would actually be ecstatic because I know what he can do for the bottom dollar. But for a company that is customer facing, like say AT&T, Disney, Verizon, any of your retail stores, I don't think he is good for it. I think that he just sees you as a number, unfortunately, and that you cannot be that way at Disney.
No, because you're not a number.
You're not. You're supposed to be empowered to make guests feel this magic. And look, I know this magic thing is a mythical thing that we all come to expect when we get to Disney. But I'm sorry, it is something I expect now. And if I have an interaction with a cast member like Terry had, I don't know how I would react to that. But just because Disney it's supposed to be this magical place, and it has not been with Bob Chapek at the helm, unfortunately. And anybody who's listened to this show for a length of time knows how hard it is for me to have to say that, because I am a Disney fanboy. And to me, for me to say that something is wrong, it's a big deal. but something is wrong, and I'm glad the higher ups finally realize what it is and realize that there is a problem.
Yeah, and this is when this became mainstream. There's a great comment here. When this became mainstream news, when this wasn't Mr. Tom Morrow talking about it, or the Main Street Mouse, or the Diz, or WD News Today, and when it was MSNBC, you want to talk about woke?
Right.
CNBC. It was companies that normally towed the line.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it's interesting to hear, just how outside of our universe this has become.
Yeah.
And it's super. The irony of this happening on the weekend of Mickey Mouse's birthday is not
Happy
lost
birthday,
on
Mick.
me. Bob Iger got Mickey Mouse a present, and and I think, and what was really interesting, there was way more Iger in that special than there was Chapek.
Yeah.
I don't actually remember Chapek in that special. Iger finished it. Because he talked about it ends with the resurgence. They called it the Bake Off, when all of that stuff came out with Mickey, with the new cartoons and Epic Mickey,
right?
Where each division got to basically take a swing for the fences at Mickey Mouse. And I think, here's a little politics for the kids. I think you're seeing a parallel to what's happening in our country right now, where we're all kind of re-looking at what we value.
Yep.
We're redefining what our American values. We're redefining what are the things that are non-negotiables. And right now, the Disney company is having to take a look in the mirror and go, what is it about Walt's legacy? What is it about this rodent? What is it about the guest experience that we really, really care about more than anything? And what are we going to do going forward to ensure that we don't lose, literally 100 years of legacy, and a guy that's been doing this for a couple of years, and it's already, when stock prices got below $100 again, when they got back to like what they were in March of 2020, that's when you started to know, like, okay, we have a problem,
So what was Josh D'Amaro's, or what is Josh D'Amaro's title?
He is over. So the company is in like 5 silos now.
Right.
He is over parks, resorts, experiences, and consumer products, basically.
Because we now have a new updated from Disney. I don't know what the website is, but the executive leadership. Bob Iger is now listed as CEO of the Walt Disney Company. Alan Bergman is the Disney Studios content chairman. Rebecca Campbell, chairman, international content and operations of the Walt Disney Company. And Jennifer Cohen, executive vice president of social responsibility of the Walt Disney Company. I don't see Josh D'Amaro listed. I'm Googling now.
There's a ton of people on this list. Alan Bergman, Josh D'Amaro's official title.
Okay, he is still there.
It just is chairman of Disney Parks, Experiences, and Products.
Okay. But they didn't waste any time getting Chapek off that list.
Oh yeah, he's gone. He's on. Chapek's on this off this list. Iger's back on it. Now, what's interesting, really, really interesting, I imagine this will change. He's not on the board.
Honestly, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want my CEO on the board, because the CEO should be, or the board should be over the CEO.
Yeah. He was on the board. He was the chairman of the board before, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So I think they're trying to get
Okay, yeah, there's
Yeah.
tomorrow. I'll see him now.
Yeah. Now, I think out of this list, the ones that are kind of interesting, knowing that I'm paying a little bit of attention,
Hmm.
um, I don't see any of these people being heir apparent.
I don't either.
The one that you've seen a lot of, and you're gonna really not like this answer. The one that you've seen the most from lately has been Christy McCarthy, and she's the senior executive vice president and CFO, which I don't think we're gonna see.
I'm not a fan of hers at all. I just not. As long as it's not Kathleen Kelly, I'm okay. Kathleen
What's
Kelly's.
interesting is they used to have the sub people on here, and they're not on this page anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a really interesting. I don't know anything about Rebecca Campbell. Jennifer Cohen's interesting because she's kind of she's the executive director of wokeness. So that's basically what her role is. She's the I mean, her title is the executive vice president of corporate social responsibility. So
right. So here's my other political thing, and we need to get into for a second too. I think the other thing that Bob Iger is coming in to do is to repair relations with Florida.
absolutely, dude.
Because
Absolutely.
yeah, Chapek and Ron DeSantis did not get along, and it's very, very vocal about that. In fact, Reedy Creek is set to be demolished January 1st of 2023. So
yeah, I think you're gonna. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I mean, funny enough, the morning of the thing, in the Wyndham Disney Springs, which will be the location for the Disney for the thing 2023, was the Reedy Creek Town Hall meeting.
Oh boy, how'd
So
that go?
we're on one side of the conference hall, they're on the other. They're like, hey, they were super nice. They came over and we're like, can you guys not sound check till 10 o'clock? I was like, I was like, I'll be nice to you guys. I literally told the guy, I was like, I'm happy to do it. You guys have had a rough year. And the guy goes, you have no idea. And so, I think it's interesting to watch what's going to happen with that. I mean, the state of Florida doesn't want to be in that game.
Right.
And also, Ron DeSantis his eyes are moving beyond Florida. And so, I predict he's not going to want to make too many enemies,
right,
with a company that's one of the most loved companies in the world. So we'll see. And I do think politics plays a part of this, man. I mean, Bob
Big
Iger
time.
was rumored to be a potential Democratic candidate for president in the next election cycle.
Yeah. Thank you, Skip. You called me out on it. It's Kathy Kennedy, it's not Kathleen Kelly.
Who is Kathy Kennedy?
She's the one over Star Wars.
Oh, Kathleen Kennedy, I think. Yeah,
that's ruining Star Wars.
Oh yeah, she's yeah. No, we just personally just said that we've looked at the executive leadership and he's still on there.
Yeah,
but dude, I mean, if I was any of those people, I would not be coming to work tomorrow feeling really great about my life.
Not at all. In fact, I think executives should feel bad about their lives, but I think anybody under the mid-executive level should feel much better about their lives.
If you're young and show promise, yeah, and listen, I mean, I would love it. I would love to see Josh tomorrow be leading with someone else. I mean, but dude, he's only been with the company since 1998, and in Disney years, that's not very long.
Right.
I mean, Iger's been with the company
47 years, I think I read.
Yeah, a long time. I mean, Chapek was around in the 80s. So, yeah, Iger began at 74 at ABC.
Yeah.
And, this is not an easy, you don't just go on Indeed looking for a new CEO. There's a handful of humans that are even qualified for this job. There's not a lot of companies that are a media company, that are a parks company. But at the end of the day, dude, Disney is a story company.
Right.
Every company, honestly, is a story company. Dude, you work at Boeing. I watched the story they told with Artemis last week. It was very much like it's like that Walt Disney quote, like, I'm a proud American with, stars and stripes trickling down my spine.
Right.
You had that moment of like, but Disney is 100% a story company. They're a company that is known for telling remarkable stories and giving people connection points to those remarkable stories. And so if you want to lead this company, you're going to have to understand business and story and creativity and collaborate. They're a collaborative company too. They're a company that I mean, literally, dude. I mean, they literally have the book on how collaboration makes. That's the recipe guide for magic.
So
Getting the right people together. So I think Iger's first task, dude, is going to be. There'll probably be oddly, there was just a corporate retreat when we were just there. When we got there right before Halloween, there was a corporate retreat, and so I think you're going to see another one. They're going to all have to come back and get together and have some time together. I actually wouldn't be shocked if they got out of the parks and went to Aulani or something like that.
Yeah.
To begin to think a little bigger and a little different. But I think you're going to see a real. You're going to hear a lot about the things that made. Iger is going to use a lot of language, I think. I mean, did you remember on the 50th when I said Iger sounded like a seasoned dad he had 9 daughters that had been married.
Yep.
And he was doing the toast before the fireworks. And Chapek was like the drunk uncle.
Well, he looked like the drunk uncle
that you needed to take the punch bowl away from.
Right.
And so, I think there's going to be, I hate to use this phrase, but someone is about to be groomed to be that person. Someone is about to go through being whoever it is going to leave their position. So if you're loving Josh, don't get nervous if he gets out of if his title changes, because they're going to move people. They're going to move a small group of people into really close proximity to Iger.
Yeah.
So he can really begin to groom the person that he thinks it is. And I know there's a short list. There's probably some people outside the company that are going to get announced as staff in the next couple of days too.
Yep. All right. So we got a great question here, and I'm looking into the comments. This is from John Michael Sherman. What was Chapek's biggest blunder during his short reign?
Thinking he was invincible.
Yep. That's easily it.
Thinking he was above, 100 years of values. Thinking he was above listening to the guests. I mean, you remember that story that came out a few weeks ago when he was basically like, yeah, I don't really think we need to listen to the guests.
Yeah, he's like, oh, park the guests love park reservations. What are you talking about?
Yeah. And dude, I think you start to see that in any field, whether it's politics or business or in life, when the person making the decision has become so far, and man, I think it's once again tomorrow. I bought the least amount of merchandise on this trip that I've ever bought.
Really? Well, so here's something I've noticed.
Now, granted, I've geeked out for certain things. Like, I went nuts for this, dude. You're going to love this. I went nuts for this.
You got a Lola.
Yeah, I got a Lola, right? Like, I went nuts for that. I went nuts for the R6 SNO, the Snowman, Star Wars. Like, I had bought the books on Amazon when they announced them.
Right.
But, even like Leslie's like, oh, I should probably get some 50th stuff.
Because I've got plenty of that.
Well, no, but dude, you were there for the 50th.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's honestly been in short supply. They've not managed. And I know, dude. I'm tired of You want to know the second thing I think Chapek did? He let the pandemic. I've seen the excuses already show up in our comments tonight. The supply chain, and we let some of the people go. Bro, that was 2 years ago. They had that was 2 years ago that happened, and now it's time as a leader that eventually you have to figure your way out of it.
Right.
Now, granted, there are some positive things happening in the park, dude. I will say, Epcot, huge difference of seeing the international program back. Going into England and buying tea from somebody with a British accent was going to Canada and hearing a proper Canadian accent.
Don't you know?
Huh?
Don't you know?
It was they were sorry that it took so long, right? They were sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, Derek Franks, there's stores. There are things that are still not open.
Yeah. We're finally getting Akashir's back.
Yeah.
Finally.
I mean, Morocco, the whole pavilion's basically empty.
Right.
And so, I mean, those are the equivalent of like, I always say this at Disney, and people always look at me like I'm nuts. When there's empty spaces at Epcot or Magic Kingdom, that's like real estate in Times Square sitting empty.
Right.
One store closes, and by the next day, something's already in there.
So here's my biggest blunder with merchandise for Chapek.
Not Chapek.
No, for Chapek. This is Chapek's biggest blunder with merchandising.
Josh Tomorrow runs that division, but yes, go ahead.
But this was also Chapek's deal because he was very big into streamlining. When I go to Disneyland, I want Disneyland merchandise.
Yes.
When I go to Walt Disney World, I want Walt Disney World merchandise.
I love the Electric Light Parade. Don't give me the merchandise at Disney World if you're not going to give me the parade.
Right. What Chapek did.
You know where I saw that merchandise, dude? Not on this trip, the trip before last in July? In Animal Kingdom.
Right. Why?
Absurd.
Right, exactly. What Chapek did, in fact, I'm sitting here looking at my Funko Pops right now, is he made the castles on merchandise look so similar that they can sell them in both parks and make it look like you're in Disneyland or Disney World. I want Disneyland specific in California and Disney World specific in Disney World.
The
Shanghai,
right, on purpose.
Shanghai and Shanghai, Tokyo and Tokyo. Now, if you want to sell me Disneyland Paris stuff in the France Pavilion, I'm okay with that.
I'm there for it.
But don't put it in a store saying this is Disney merchandise. No, I want park specific.
And dude, I mean, honestly, that's a brilliant idea. Hello, top of the world, coming up with all the ideas for the company.
Right.
There should be a Disneyland store in Disney Springs.
Right.
I would love to be able to go to Disney. And the same thing in downtown Disney. They should be able to buy the 50th merchandise just in case they didn't make it. Or even just like a parks around the world, be able to buy some of the Tokyo merch.
In Japan, be able to buy some of the Shanghai stuff in China, be able to buy some. I mean, they have that, but I don't want park specific. I want park specific. I don't want this meld of both parks, and that's what Chapek had done. I want it to go back to how it was, unfortunately.
Yeah, Derek, put up Derek's last question he just asked. That's an interesting one. Here's what Magical Express represents. And this is what eroded during Chapek's reign. If I chose this as an option, I could walk off my plane, get on a bus, go to the park, go to my resort, drop my luggage, and go to the parks. And within 90 minutes,
you didn't have to drop your luggage. Your luggage magically showed up.
Well, if my carry-on,
right? Like,
okay. I had to go check in at my resort technically, even though you were mostly checked in anyways. Magic Express took you to your resort, is what I'm saying.
Right.
So that shouldn't be more than a 10-minute. That shouldn't be more than a 10-minute experience. So I don't know if Magical Express will come back because that's complicated.
The problem you had with Magical Express is Mears.
Well, it's Mears.
Mears went way high on their prices.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see, what's interesting is H2O products are still in the parks, resorts.
But they're highly discounted.
No, like in the room.
Right? Yeah, they're going away at the end of the year. They're
But
going
I'm
through the
shocked we
supply
didn't
they.
I'm shocked we didn't just buy that company.
That's true. I don't think we had the money. We don't have the funds
Oh,
right
dude,
now.
Disney has the money. How much cash reserves is Walt? Google what are the cash reserves of the Walt Disney Company?
Hold up.
They got a line of credit during the pandemic of like several $billion.
It doesn't say, but they had a really, really bad fourth quarter report that just came out.
David Dollar. Put David Dollar's quote up. Tron Construction outlived Bob.
David Dollar comment of the night.
Yeah, David Dollar. We used your pricing breakdown earlier on the show. If you weren't watching live,
so it's H2O is going away. Yes. Yeah, so H2O has announced that they are
dissolving as a company here.
Yeah, H2O is not a Disney product. So for those that were unaware, this isn't Disney's doing. This is actually the company H2O's doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. And you know what I think the Tron situation is actually a representation. What Iger is going to have to do. Culture and speed.
Yep.
The company is going to have to learn how to be fast again. And I remember McNair telling me this story.
And there's that name drop again.
Huh?
There's that name drop again.
He's one of my good friends.
I know.
Like, and he's been a part of everything that we've done, and literally. And he told this amazing story about Iger when he came in, and he was basically just like, okay, tell me all the things that they wouldn't let you do. I want to know all the things. So, Britt, what's not been done? Because that's the speed solution, right? That lets me do. And one of those things was Splash Mountain. One of those things was that Splash Mountain wasn't done. It wasn't greenlit.
Right.
And so Bob Iger and Bob Weiss did work together. Weiss is still there through the end of the year. I wouldn't be shocked if he extended his time just to help the transition.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to ask Imagineering, like, what's close? What could we put out like immediately? Like, what could we say is coming really quick?
I think we're going to get a lot. Not a lot, but I think we're going to get a lot more than we bargained for. I think there's going to be a lot coming to these parks.
Yeah, I think during the 100th year, which is what Iger just bought, right? He's bought that 100th year magical thing.
Right.
You're going to see announcements around at least a new e-ticket at every park in Orlando. And it's got to be new. It can't be an overlay, or it's got to be, it's got to be massive. It can't be something going where the old crappy
aerial
the stupid what's the ride that in Animal Kingdom by Dinosaur?
Primeval Whirl.
Yeah, Primeval Whirl. Yeah. Yeah, and David Dollar, I don't think we're gonna wait till 2024 to D23.
Well, we're not. Yeah, it'll be a Destination Disney. I mean, I don't think it will be a full D23, but it's just going to be leaks.
You can't wait. Yeah.
Derek Frank, if you want immediate surge, dissolve reservations and Genie Plus. So here's my soapbox. Reservations. I'm not totally opposed to it, but only turn it on week of Thanksgiving, week of Christmas, week after Christmas. Like the times the parks are going to get massive surges, that's when you need park reservations. But if it's just a normal day in July
or Terry Weaver, brilliant idea. Here you go.
Okay, here we go.
What if with your park reservation you got something?
There you go.
What if by making a park reservation, I got my first Genie Plus, whatever that becomes. I got my 3 back. I got 2-3 because especially now this I hate my off property folks that might be playing violins for you because right. Derek Frank I'm all for that. Like make you feel like you're getting something for it. Give me an attraction return time that I can pick when I make my park reservation.
Yep.
Because here's the problem is you could say, Dave, you and I could go and say, you know what, dude, I'd love to do with you. I'd love to go ride Rise with you. And we
Because you know how
could spend
giddy
the whole
I'd be.
day in a park and not pull that off.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I know a few ways.
Exactly.
But that's a reality for a lot of families that they may not be able to do some of the things they want to do. You know, I mean, when we did the VIP tour, dude, not everyone can pull up to the back door of Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind and walk in the door of the attraction. And now, granted, we walked in and waited 35 or 40 minutes once we got in because of stupid Genie Lightning Lane, right? Probably because the ride was down earlier. Yeah. I mean, that's really one of the things. That's really one of the things that I think Iger is going to have to address is like maintenance and readiness. I mean, when our VIP guides, dude, I mean, this is for real deal. They wouldn't get in trouble for saying that. You know, I told them like we parked behind Hollywood Tower of Terror, and we walked toward Rise. I mean, it was awesome, dude. You walk right up. I'm here with McNair is with us. All of the people are talking to McNair on the ride over, and we're literally pulling up. Which when you pull up backstage at Disney, it looks like you're entering a nuclear plant, which is crazy. Like more security than than I've seen at the White House.
Wow.
To get backstage at a Disney park. Just that level of like military base. But dude, we walked all the way to Rise because they were fearful that Rise was going to go down.
Yeah.
Now, not a great guest experience, dude. It was 85 or 90 degrees. It was hot. I wanted my people to be able to, I was like, can we stop and do something quickly? Because this has been 12 minutes and we're just sweating across the park. Right. Can we mind train it? Can we meet runaway train? Can we do something? You know, can we go look at a picture of One Man's Dream for do something, right?
Right.
I feel like we've accomplished. So yeah. Dude, I think it's, I think the ambition that has made Disney a great company needs to be backed up by the excellence that's kept it there. And that's something that Bob Iger is going to have to deal with day one is like, let's get these rides working. Let's get park operations on like not just pinching pennies. Give them a budget to fix this stuff and make it work.
Here's the question I want to know too is we're making this change tonight, knowing that in 3 days, the world will like be shut down because Thursday and Friday are Thanksgiving and Black Friday. So this weekend, most people are not going to be working. What is Bob Iger going to do those 3 days that he has this week to change the culture? I think we're going to hear something big in the next 7 days. There's going to be some. I am interested to hear from the people.
Oh, dude, he's on the jet somewhere. Where I'm just telling you. He's either going to New York or New York is coming to him. He's going to be there. I'd be shocked if they didn't. Yeah. And I agree, Frank, Derek, man,
Joe Rohde. If Joe Rohde comes back as what if he is your Frank Miller?
Your Frank Miller,
not Frank Miller. Crap. Why did I forget his name? Who was Eisner's number 2?
Frank Wells was his number 2.
Yeah. What if Joe Rohde is your number 2? That is the just brilliant mind to make the parks better, the magic better, and Iger's your money guy.
I think what he ought to, if I was him,
here you go, David Dollar, McNair, Wilson.
I would. Derek and David chime in with us since you're live. I would get together my legends. I would get together some of these guys that are like Tony Baxter and Joe Rohde and these guys that have been around with the company for a long time that have created some of the bring back some of those names and bring them on as like mentors.
Yep. So
Even
David,
if you don't hire Joe Rohde back, but say, hey, we're doing Frontierland, and Tony Baxter is going to be over it as a consultant.
Yep.
Give Tony $100,000. Tony's bored as heck, anyways. I guarantee you, Branson's not giving Rohde enough to do. Say, hey, we're going to do something new at Animal Kingdom, and we brought Joe Rohde back to be the consulting partner.
Hold up. Thank you. First off, David Dollar, I love this. Yes, this reminds me of when Vince retired and Triple H took over. I think you're going to see a lot of old names come back.
Ian,
no. Ian,
No.
we are not bringing Vinnie Mac to ruin Walt Disney World.
Ian will be at my house on a Wednesday, so he's you've got
Ian,
my whole crew in the
that ain't happening, sir.
It's about to get unruly up in here.
Here, to bring a quote from Vinnie Mac, there's no chance in hell.
Yeah. But dude, I mean, you want to talk about someone that has steered a company. I mean,
From the
Gary
brink of
Vaynerchuk, who's one of the biggest business minds of our time, says the two most creative people in business of all time are Walt Disney and Vince McMahon.
And one of them is beloved by their company, and now one of them said, like, wrestling fans hate Vince McMahon, hate him because he didn't change with the times.
Right.
Walt Disney did.
That's also the
Vince
character
didn't.
he played.
But even in the background, Vince thought that the 90s stuff worked in 2022. So he never changed with the times.
Yeah.
And that's, well, he got fired for other reasons.
His problem was that he didn't listen to the fans.
Right.
The fans went and found AEW. The fans went and found other places.
Yep.
And Disney is facing very much what WWE is facing.
And WWE is thriving now with new blood and Triple H in charge.
Yep. So, I mean, Iger is going to have to look at the leadership roster. He's pulling up that page on Disney One right now, and saying, "Man, who is my go-to? Who can I look to? Who are my people that I'm going to raise up and lead?" Yeah, big enough.
Oh, come on, Disco Yeti's fun.
But I mean, see, you know, I remember a cast member going, would you rather the attraction just be down? And I looked at the dude and said, yes. I'd rather you turn it off. And dude, half of the guns on Rise, they don't work anymore.
Really?
The guns at the top where you're going through that top scene.
Yeah, the big guns.
Yeah, they turn them off. They stay in B mode now. Huh. They haven't worked in 8 months, I've heard, because they kept breaking. And the guide was like, "Do you wish they just turned off the attraction so they could figure that out?" I was like, "Yes, close it. Don't give people half a ride."
Yeah, don't give them B mode all the time.
Yeah, and dude, that is the problem. Is the Disney company has been running in B mode since before the pandemic, and that started under Iger. And so, because
I think it started when Iger knew he was when he was leaving.
Yes,
and now that Iger has fresh blood and new life, I think we're going to see the Iger of the early 2000s. I really do. David Dollar. Oh, this needs to go away. Okay, David Dollar.
Can we moderate the?
Yeah, I did. So I'm sure you said this earlier, but are we guessing that Josh Tomorrow's next in line 2 years? No, I don't think so. And I think that this was a glaring indictment of Josh Tomorrow. If the board trusted Josh Tomorrow, Chapek would be out and Josh Tomorrow would be in right now. The board doesn't trust Josh Tomorrow. I don't think the board trusts anybody that was in a leadership role at Disney right now to be.
I'm not even sure that Josh Tomorrow will have a job next week, David Dollar. I think he's loved, he's likable, but I mean, people also like Duffy the Disney Bear. You know, and so,
Duffy for CEO.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of I don't have to like the dude. I didn't like Iger the whole time, but 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 he led.
Right.
And leadership's not always popular. I'd like to I'd like to believe that DeMauro could be the next leadership because I think as a person, he embodies a lot of those. I've watched. I know you've fanboyed around him, but what's interesting to watch about DeMauro, not just in person, but how he interacts online, the cast members love him.
But they love him because of the act he plays.
Right, exactly. He is a role in the machine, and it's going to be really, really, really interesting to see who becomes the heir apparent. Are they even in the company right now? And I would probably guess they're not. I would guess there's someone outside the company that we're going to start to learn, and we're going to see their name and face.
I'm trying to think where we could find a CEO from what company, because
well, I think you're going to find a CEO from a penny pincher company, and then you're going to find a creative person, and you're going to see someone gets the CEO title and someone gets the chief creative officer.
David Dollar, I don't want Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque in charge of my Disney company. Sorry,
because you
I love Paul Levesque over WWE. I really do, but he's got a genius of a mind for wrestling, but not for Disney.
Yeah, but what's interesting about that is the idea that you would bring in somebody, that's an when you
just
chase
thought
that
of
theory a little bit, Dave. Though down like, who are the people out there that are in the field that are like, who are people that are close to Disney?
I got it. And here we go, David Dollar. You're going to freak out when I say this. You said Vinnie Mac earlier. Shane O'Mac. He's not with the company anymore. He's a young guy who knows how to do a company like this. He helped YouTube move into this new modern era. Why not bring Shane O'Mac over? I mean, I've seen crazier things happen.
I wonder, when you Google Disney CEO successors, I wonder who they say, who they think.
Let's see. Yeah.
There's some blogs about the fact that it was, oh, interesting.
What?
There's this guy that's a blogger that's like, or like runs a company that does that. That's how their succession plan didn't work. And dude, this is interesting. This is a master lesson in leadership. And I live, I could see that Derek Frank, Gary Kelly from Southwest Airlines on the short list.
Yeah.
You're going to see someone like that, right? Someone in that, and then you're going to see him paired with a Rhodey or a Lassiter or a Bruckheimer or a, what's the Marvel guy? Kevin.
Oh, Kevin Feige would be beautiful in that role.
Right.
What about Jon Favreau? I mean,
Favreau. Yeah, I could see Favreau. Favreau is the chief creative officer with, and really, dude, I mean, if you go back to like when Walt Disney hired Marty Sklar, when Marty Sklar was over Imagineering, he very much kind of, and I've talked about this before, he played a role like our buddy here, Jiminy Cricket, who sits behind me all the time. And the company doesn't have a Jiminy Cricket right now.
Right.
Yeah, Derek's Gary Keller, because he's stepping down as CEO. And that's the real thing. Like, are they going to find the next CEO are they going to go super young, or are they going to go someone that can lead through the next 5 or 10 years?
That's what I say. Shane O'Mac. He is.
How old is Gary Keller?
Oh, Shane O'Mac's not that young.
Dude, I'm not even entertaining your.
Oh, fine. Gary Keller.
Not Gary Keller from Keller Williams.
Yeah,
Gary W. Keller.
there he is. He is. That's not him. That's an author.
You're thinking of Gary Keller for the one thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
Gary C. Kelly.
Okay.
And he's pretty old, dude. I mean, he's been at Southwest for 35 years.
He's 67.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah, you need somebody who's like 55.
Shane McMahon is 52.
Yeah. I think you need someone that's that can bridge the gap. Well, dude, we've been going forever, and
We have.
These knuckleheads listen at this point would stay up all night and listen to us yammer. So, but yeah, I think David Dollar's right. Retirement did not suit Iger well. You knew he wasn't going to just be able to. I mean, Bob Iger has a vested interest in the success of this company.
Yep.
He did not sell all of his Disney shares.
I fully thought that Iger was going to come in and do a corporate takeover of Disney. I thought that he was bringing up people in the background to buy Disney.
You thought he was like, well, I think that's what the board thought. I think the board was well aware that a company like Apple could have stepped in.
Yeah.
But see, Apple very much is a company that's in a similar place right now. They don't have the right leader.
Right. I mean, come on. They have a guy from Auburn leading you. So what could be any worse?
Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, Nick Saban could just come in.
Yeah.
He not do anything else this year. So,
Lord. Can we talk about Tennessee?
Dude, you can't get me on college sports.
Anyway.
In the other fandoms, we're both Braves fans, we're both Titans fans. So you can't even get anything.
Right.
But yeah, dude, I think we're gonna see buckle up, kids. It's gonna be an interesting ride through the real ride of a lifetime, David Dollars, through the end of this year.
Yep.
Of what we're gonna see happen in the company. I think you're gonna see some aggressive moves. You know, Disney does a lot of Disney markets heavy in the fourth quarter. You guys that are travel agents that are watching, you know that people buy their travel in January and February. So like they knew they had to be there must be some data, dude. You talk about data. There must be some data telling them reservations are down for the beginning of the year.
They're not, though, because we were talking about going between Christmas and New Year, and pretty much all the parks are reserved.
Yeah, but that doesn't indicate that's not data. That's every year the parks are busy from Christmas to New Year's.
Right.
Like, that's not information.
Oh, okay.
That's not. I mean, they don't have to do anything then, dude.
That's true.
That's like saying, you know what's gonna, we're really right in front of Macy's in New York is gonna be real busy on Thursday. Like that's just gonna happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Because of what happens there. Now, cancel the parade, and all of a sudden the place is wide open, right?
Right.
And I do think your theory that he might have been pursuing other options is not that far fetched, because they could have been,
I really do think something was about to happen.
Yeah. Well, and Disney, the last thing Disney wants to be is vulnerable.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, and I think you're right. We're coming into a season of like uncertainty in our economy. You're coming into 2 years of nonstop. Iger is stepping into an almost impossible task.
But I think he's willing to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the entire time, Bob Iger will be stepping out as we have just elected a new president.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't think about that. Like right after.
Yeah, I mean, like right now we'll be now. Granted, on November 20th of 2024, we might not know who that person is.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean,
so as we're going off the air, as we're about to close, I think it's prudent to read the email that came out.
It might be prudent at this juncture.
All right. So this email went out. It's all over the place now. It isn't proprietary. It's on CNBC. But this,
From the desk of Bob.
Yeah, from the desk of Bob.
And interestingly, it came in cast members' emails from his email address.
From the company email address?
Nope. I mean, it shows up. I mean, I've got a screenshot from cast members. I mean, I sent it to you, dude. It shows up as from Bob Iger. I mean,
so there's some things missing. I'm trying to find the entire email right now. Just a second. Put it up now. All right, here we go. Dear fellow employees and cast members, I love how he starts it off. Dear fellow employees, not people I now rule. It is with incredible sense of gratitude and humility, and I must admit a bit of amazement, that I write to you this evening with the news that I am returning to the Walt Disney Company as Chief Executive Officer. When I look at the creative success of our teams across our studios, Disney General Entertainment, ESPN, and International, the rapid growth of our streaming services, the phenomenal reimagining and rebound of our parks, the continued great work of ABC News, and so many other achievements across our businesses, I am in awe of your accomplishments, and I am excited to embark with you on many new endeavors. I love that. Many new endeavors. I know this company has asked so much of you during the past 3 years, and these times certainly remain quite challenging. But as you have heard me say before, I am an optimist. And if I learned one thing from my years at Disney, it is that even in the face of uncertainty, perhaps especially in the face of uncertainty, our employees and cast members achieve the impossible. You will be hearing more from me and your leadership tomorrow and in the weeks ahead. In the meantime, allow me to express my deep gratitude for all that you do. Disney holds a special place in my hearts. All right, Disney holds a special place in the hearts of people around the globe, thanks to you and your dedication to this company and its mission to bring great joy to people through the great storytelling is an inspiration to me every single day. Bob Iger. He is saying everything correctly. And that's something that Chapek never has done and never will do.
Yeah, did you just, I mean, he has almost like that Kennedy blood in him.
Yep.
Which tells me, I mean, if he is thinking strategically, I mean, you don't have to be a political pundit to expect the next 2 years of the election cycle to look a lot like a clown car. If the people who there's some clowns running on both sides.
Yep.
And so I think, there's some that, what is he going to do in 2028? Will he run? Man, if he could turn the Disney company around and save the company and steer the ship right and really, I think what he misfired last time that he didn't, he's basically, the board has basically said, dude, 2 years. We need 2 years from you. You need to come back. You need to set the ship. We are telling you basically, let's get the long range vision for this company. And the person that steps into that isn't going to have to guess what they're doing day one, because you're telling them what they're doing day one. This board is telling you what's happening for the next 4 to 5 years.
Yep.
And the company is going to be set, all while this is happening, Disney has boldly bought another cruise ship, basically out of the largest cruise ship in the world, out of the junk heap. We have 2 more ships that are coming on board. There's been rumored of another park in another international location that have been kind of bubbling up the past week and a half. So I think you're going to see some aggressive things from Mr. Iger in the next 24 months. And I think we're going to see really quickly. I mean, he already said, expect to hear from me tomorrow. Like, I'm coming into work on Monday with something to do. I've canceled my golf trip.
Right.
Bob Barker and I had golf tomorrow, but not anymore. So,
oh, this is gonna be fun, y'all.
the price is wrong, Bob. The price is wrong. But yeah, and guys, I hope that this is the dawn of a new day. It's really interesting. There's been
It can't get any worse.
And dude, for you to admit that,
I know
it's huge. And
that's
I
a
think,
big deal.
And I mean, we had the conversation, dude. My wife and I coming back from the thing, like, AP, what are we doing? You know, DVC's points are selling well. We need a new fence. You know, like,
I hear you. I hear you.
You know, and so, dude, I love Disney. I love the company. I love the legacy of Walter Elias Disney, and I am very hopeful that Mr. Iger will be able to look back at the legacy of this company, look back at the vision that Walt had. You know, one of the takeaways that I had that I'd never caught. I've studied Walt's history since I started writing my book, Making Elephants Fly, years ago, and doing school assemblies. But I never knew that when Walt created Steamboat Willie, that him and Roy both mortgaged their houses. I knew that for the parks. I knew that for Snow White, but I'd never. He mortgaged his he put his car as collateral to step into creating Mickey Mouse and Steamboat Willie as the first sound cartoon. You know, and what made Walt the audacious leader that he was is he was always all in. And
Right.
Bob Chapek never led the company that he was all in and everything. It was always just, let's see if this works, and if not, we'll try something else. And I hope Bob Iger takes that a page out of that and goes all in on this company for the next 2 years. I'm glad that there's already a plan for him to leave. Now, personally, I don't think he's leaving in 2 years.
I don't either.
I think he will stay on for another year and in some sort of a role of someone starting to lead along the way. Unless we know that CEO, unless somebody's really humble and they're willing to come and lead under him a year from now.
He tried that. He won't do that again.
Yeah, you're probably right.
He tried saying, my successor is Bob Chapek. I'll stay on until he's ready. And it blew up in his face. He will not do that again.
But he's kind of going to have to do some version of that. That's what the board has asked of him. But I think this time he's writing. He's Frank Sinatra in this sucker, and he's doing it his way.
Right.
Because I guarantee you he had some asks, and they gave him whatever he asked for. Well, this was not the episode I thought we were going to record.
I know, right? I know. You thought I was going to be all mad at you tonight.
I thought you were going to. We were going to record this because we were going to try to get together and record before Thanksgiving, and I thought you were going to cuss me out and say we're never doing the show, and the magic's, the magic's still there, and I'm going
to always say the magic's there. Just look at the eyes of my girls, but
dude, I mean,
I hear you.
And I know Iger is going to be in a park tomorrow. He's going to be in the company, walking around pressing flesh, kind of letting people know, like, hey, we're here. This is the vision. Let's remember the vision. Because, I mean, I'll leave with this, dude. Somebody asked me what I thought Bob Chapek needed to do.
Leave.
I said, no, he needed to go to traditions. He needed to go attend the thing he probably attended 35 years ago and reminded of, like, what makes this company what it is. And so I hope that Iger will remember the legacy. And I think he very much is well aware. What I do like the most about Bob Iger as a leader, he's well aware that he's standing on the shoulder of giants.
Yep. And I love that.
And I think his next big thing he's going to have to do is he's going to have to raise up a giant in the next 24 months. So I hope it can be done. I hope I'm optimistic about the Disney company for the first time in a long time.
Yep. I'm excited to see what my stock looks like tomorrow.
Yeah, I've been. It hasn't.
Right now, we're up 0.2 points in the overnight. Nothing's happened yet.
Yeah, nothing's gonna. I mean, most people, normal humans, were. This happened at 10 o'clock, and this was very much a we want to break news tomorrow morning story.
Right.
This is like, let's bury the lead. You know, we're probably the first Disney piece of content. So edit this show and get it out in the morning so it's in the podcast feed.
I'll do it.
So leave it raw and rough and let it be what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Go on it and call it.
I'm just going to put it on and say, hey, here we are. This was us in the raw.
In the raw, and we're happy, and
I'm giddy.
Yeah, I'm sad for a man that lost his job, but I'm happy for a company that I think is going to get back to what made it great.
And in reality, Bob Chapek lost his job. Yes, but this is going to be sad because let's look at it this way. Let's talk about college sports. Jimbo Fisher's probably going to lose his job at Texas A&M, but he's going to get $90 million in the bank as a buyout. Yes, Bob Chapek lost his job, but he's getting $200 million a year.
Yeah.
Let's not be sad about that.
Oh, dude, that's his bonus structure.
Right.
On top of his salary and his stock options.
Yeah, so let's not be sad about that.
If nothing else, in about 48 hours, he could sell his stock and be just fine.
Right. He will be just fine.
Yep.
In fact, I'm sure he'll have another CEO job in a couple of weeks.
That might be part of his.
He might have a note. Yeah.
He might not be able to do anything if he's depending on how the payouts work.
That's true.
So, well, I guess we'll see you next time from Top of the World Lounge.
Do we have a corner booth now?
No, actually, that was what we were going to talk about. We were going to talk about our friend hooking me up on Halloween night. We got to go up there, and I think we may want to change our line because the hostess, I sent a text and did some things, and they were like telling people they couldn't come, and I walked up and I was like, "Terry Weaver, right this way, sir." And we went up. The manager on duty that night, which wasn't someone I knew, walked us in and said, "Sir, here's your table in the dead center of the room." So we had that center table up there.
You should have asked, "Hey, I need the corner booth."
Yeah, I need the corner booth. So, but for now, we'll see you in the corner booth. We'll let Mr. Chapek have the dead center for the night. And I'm Terry Weaver.
I'm Dave Adams.
And we'll see you real soon.